The Gambino family was the largest family, and historically probably had been the most powerful family. It gets its name from Carlo Gambino, who was a boss of the family back in the 1950s. And it was probably the family that had the greatest wealth.
They were always very successful, and they didn't depend on just one or two crimes. They were into everything.
Loan sharking, gambling. The Gambinos had a lot of influence in the garment industry with the unions.
Paul Castellano ran the family in a very different way from the way other bosses ran their families. He was a very sophisticated, almost business-like boss.
Paul's mansion was called the White House, and he had like a small dining room adjacent to the kitchen. And he would sit there and hold court, and he tried to run the family from the house.
John Gotti was the type of guy that was very, very in tune, perceptive, intuitive on the street.
In 1985, Gotti had most of his crew under indictment for narcotics trafficking. These guys were distributing 50 kilos of heroin in a 6-month period.
Giganti was putting pressure on Castellano. Giganti was telling Castellano that you're going to have to kill these guys.
Gotti knew if he didn't kill them, that he would be killed. And he knew that. After killing him, he would take over the family.
And they assassinated Castellano and Bellotti.
He went from a wannabe wise guy to a superstar within the mob, a mob star.
Hey, tell me about it.
Instantly, he became a media sensation.
Fools was having a lot of fun.
John is really the first boss to actually court reporters and court publicity.
All of a sudden, you start seeing the pictures, $3,000 suits, and walking around smiling for the cameras. And, you know, we know, we've been in this life since we're kids. We know we're supposed to stay low, not smile for the cameras and say, hey, how you doing?
He was very fashionable. He wore tailored suits and tailored overcoats and, you know, fancy scarf. And, you know, he walked with a swagger. And so he took on the name the Dapper Don. And I'm sure he relished in that.
I always thought that Dapper Don was a basic moron. This guy who, you know, likes to show up to watch murders. Last thing in the world you do is show up to watch a murder. Last thing in the world you do is bring attention to yourself.
I think a lot of people resented Gotti of who he was. He was just so out there. He'll do the unexpected and doesn't care.